Hello, it's Judith here, and for those of you watching the video, you've still got the posh me because it's still the day that I've been out for afternoon tea with some really lovely friends. And the reason I'm doing this video at the same time is because I am going away next week for some winter sun. So I'm going to practice what I preach and do a little bit of sightseeing and an awful lot of relaxing on a lovely sun lounger on the beach or by the pool in the sun, and I can't wait. And I am extremely grateful that I am able to do this because I know not everybody can. So it's important for me doing what I do to take care of myself, but I am lucky that, very, very lucky that I'm able to do it. Anyway, enough about me and what I'm doing. I'm going to continue on the theme of relaxation, but talk this time about sleep, again, or lack of it. Now, we all have periods of time when we have difficulty with sleeping. I find now, I'm just a little bit older than I was, I will have the odd night every now and then when I either can't get to sleep or I get to sleep and I wake up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and can't get back to sleep. And thinking about it, it's always happened and it now does happen. If I've got to be up early the next day for something, whatever, earlier than I would normally wake, then I'm conscious of the fact that I've got to be awake. And what we do, of course, even if we're not anxious, we will make ourselves anxious by thinking, oh my goodness sake, it's 1 o'clock and I've got to be up at 6 and, I came to bed at 11 to get a decent night's sleep, and here I am still tossing and turning. So, you get that's very common and quite classic. Or if you are suffering from anxiety, it's often anxiety that is keeping you awake. And a typical pattern with that is, referring back again to last week's video, if you're coping with your anxiety by being busy, never able to sit down, never able to relax, jumping up and down every 5 minutes, then when you go to bed, you're probably tired. And that's another reason why it's a coping mechanism, because your head hits the pillow and you're absolutely exhausted, so you go to sleep. But guess what? This keeps going while you're asleep. Unfortunately, it doesn't think, oh, okay, I'll have a little rest now. It just carries on and it will wake you up at 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock in the night. And you will then be lying there thinking whatever it is you think that is driving your anxiety. I mean, what I find, I have suffered from anxiety, but even when I'm not, what I find is often at those times I will be I will wake up worrying about what in the cold light of day is a ridiculous thing to be worrying about, and I will spend ages agonizing over, I can't think of an example at the moment, but agonizing over something I've got to do the next day or something I haven't done, and will I remember it? And, or maybe one of the common ones for us all, I think, is maybe I did or said something that on reflection was not the kindest or nicest thing to do or say, and then you worry about that and you feel guilty about what you've done, and you worry about the effect it's going to have on the other person and your relationship. We're really good at this, really, really good at this. So everybody, I think, without exception, will have the odd bad night. People who suffer from anxiety often suffer from poor sleep, sometimes really poor sleep, and sometimes it's been going on for a very, very long time. So what I do with those clients is I start with a sleep recording, a recording to help them get to sleep. And I've got several, and I or we together pick the one that we think is most appropriate. For people with anxiety, I often start with one that meets them where they are. So it's a very busy start, and then it gradually calms down. So it's meeting you where you are and then taking you down and down and down and down. It's an NLP technique used in hypnosis. So that's often the one that I pick, but it's not always the right one. And for anybody watching this video, there are so many things online now that are there to help you sleep. I found one that I really enjoy. So if I have the odd night where I'm struggling, it's called Down to Sleep, and it's recordings of books. But I just like the voice and the way that the story is told, and that really works for me. Except I have to be careful which book I choose, because if I choose one that's really interesting, then I get into the book and then I don't go to sleep because I'm too busy listening. So you want one that's vaguely boring, not one that's really going to get you. I mean, they're none of them the sort that are really going to excite you, but you will know what interests you, so avoid those. Well, that's certainly what I have to do. And they're free. There is a paid version where you get more stories, and it's easier to follow a story through because they're recorded in instalments and not straight one after the other. But there are lots of other. I don't know why I'm pushing that podcast. Well, because I use it and it works for me, so why shouldn't I? But yeah, there are lots of other things out there. For me, the important thing is to do something. So if you're not getting to sleep, or you've woken up and you can't get back to sleep, you need to change your state in some way. So listening to a story, listening to a recording will be, one way of doing it. Sometimes I just sit up and grab my iPad and read. And that's just changing the state, changing the contents of my mind. And, generally if you're tired, if you do that, you get to the point where your eyes begin to close and you're ready to go back to sleep. So it could be as simple as that. But back to people with really long-term bad insomnia, I will start with a recording to help them get back to sleep. And I will then use self-hypnosis, teach them self-hypnosis, get them to practice it. And then they can switch to using that, but they've always got the recording to fall back on. And also, of course, there is generally a cause of long-term insomnia. So we will do work to deal with that, whether it's anxiety or whether it's stuff that's happened in the past that's disrupted their sleep or whatever, we will deal with that. So we're doing some therapeutic work to help, but we're also working on the sleep at the same time, because the problem is it's another vicious circle. This stuff is always full of vicious circles. If you're not sleeping, then you are less able to cope with life, and therefore you are less able to sleep well. And it's not just quantity, it's not just a case of, I must get my 8 hours or however many you need, and we do need different amounts of sleep. The rules are generally at least 7 and no more than 10. And the reason for that is we go through sleep cycles, and we need 5 complete sleep cycles a night, because the last part of the sleep cycle, which is the REM sleep, is where we do a lot of mental processing and laying down memories and things like that, and B, it's where we do a lot of physical processing. Cell renewal happens then. So that chunk of sleep at the end of each sleep cycle is really important. So if you're not getting a full sleep cycle, if you're not getting 5 full sleep cycles, you will be suffering in other ways as well. So it is important to sort the sleep out, but it is also important to sort out anything else that's going on that's causing the sleep problem. So it may just be a sleep problem. It may be that the sleep problem is caused by something else. So we will work on that as well. So it's different for every single client, because guess what? Every single client is different. I'm going to give you the link to the free relaxation recording. So have a go at this if you're having problems sleeping. See if this works for you. And then I'm very happy to talk to you if you want more, whether it's just to learn self-hypnosis or maybe some meditation, or whether you want to tackle the cause of your difficulty sleeping. But try the free one out first, and try it on for size and see, because you have to be comfortable with the voice as well as what's being said. And I mean, some of the things that I've listened to really, there's no, I mean, sort of 30 seconds and I've turned it off. And, this is going to make me cross. It's not going to help me get to sleep. I do not like the sound of the voice. And again, that's a very personal thing. So options for poor sleep. There's lots of stuff online. Break state in some way. I mean, sometimes I will get up and go downstairs and make a cup of tea. I can manage caffeinated tea in the night, but most people would go for decaffeinated or drink of some kind, warm milk, cocoa, Horlicks, whatever. Well, that's a bit old-fashioned, isn't it? I don't know where that came from. It was my favourite as a child. So breaking state may be just listening to something. It may be doing something different, like reading for a bit. It may be actually getting out of bed and sort of almost starting a bedtime ritual all over again. And bedtime rituals are important as well. But I'll leave that until next time because I've talked for long enough. So, yeah. If you need help, you know exactly where I am, and I'd be very happy to talk to you. But there are lots of resources around as well. So try the resources, try breaking state in a way that's good for you, works for you, and the very best of luck. And I hope that whenever you're listening to this, you have a good night's sleep, both in terms of quality and quantity. And I'm going to go away now and enjoy my days in the sun, and I'll be back with you. For you, it will be next week. For me, it'll be 2 weeks away. Okay, then. Until I'm back with you next time, you take care.